Hello again, YouTube. It's a Tempest. Um, I've got a new Yu-Gi-Oh deck for you. I haven't made or built a new Yu-Gi-Oh deck that I've actually liked in a long time, but I like this deck a lot. I've been playing it for about 2 years on DN, and I think it's really fun. Really consistent too, to an extent. Um, Now this is going to be something new where this deck is one I'm not quite comfortable with, so you're gonna see me post a lot of updates to this deck, I'm sure, as the format goes on and as I play it a lot more. So it's my Fabled deck. It's not quite finished yet, but I'm gonna post the first list I have because I think it's a good list. And sooner or later I will change it after do some testing. So yeah, um, I'll just get right into it, and I'll make sure to post changes or comment on changes as I go along. So, two Grimro. I only own two currently. I'm going to buy a third one at some point or trade for one. She's needed. She's a searcher in the deck, standard 1-for-1. And there's a lot of plays you can make with her, so it's pretty good. One Cruise. I'm going to try and get another one of this too because I've been testing it out at 1 and it's been working fine. But a lot of decks that builds I've been seeing are running 2, and I might want to just test 2 just to have. One Kushana. I should probably start over from this actually, because not everybody will know what Fables do. Surprisingly, okay, so yeah, Grimro. Once you control a Fable monster, you can discard her to search for another Fable monster. It's pretty good. Cruise. When she's discarded to the graveyard, in any form, you can revive another Fable from the graveyard other than her. Kushano. I'm gonna bump up to 2 if I can. Right now, I don't have 2. I only own 1, and yeah. So the cool thing about Kushano is, and this is actually what made me make the deck, is he's a fiend, he's level 3, and he's a light. So if you go with him with Tour Guide into Leviathan and like detach 2, it's an instant BLS with Chaos Sorcerer. So I made this deck when Chaos Sorcerer was a 3, and it was really fun. But then Chaos Dragon happened, and this deck took a huge hit, and then recently Sangin got banned as well. So I'm still working out the kinks in this deck. It has gone down in both power and popularity since then. But yeah, this is one of my favorite cards. What Kushano does is while he's in your graveyard, you can discard a Fabled monster to add it back to your hand. And since the majority of the cards in this deck get their effects when they're discarded, he becomes a really important engine for the deck. And plus, he's searchable by Tour Guide, so he's really good. And we got 3 Fabled Chihuahua. What he does is he's a level 1 tuner, and you can discard a Fabled monster with special summoning from your hand. So, and again, lots of Fabled monsters get their effects when they're discarded, so yeah, pretty good. You got a max Chawa. 2 Nazuche. He's like Chawa. You can discard 1 to special summon him from your hand. But he also has the effect where when he's summoned, you can special summon a level 2 or lower Fabled monster from your hand. So he has a little bit more utility. I only run him at 2 because he is a non-tuner, and the majority of my cards that get their effects when discarded are also non-tuners, so I'd rather have the synchro potential with Chawa to get the plays to go off a little bit more. So that's just personal preference. Nazuche can be run at 1, 2, or 3 if you want. I have no idea. The Tricky is random choice. Again, you can special summon him by discarding 1 card from your hand. Since he's level 5, he improves your synchro potential. I'm gonna cut him for the third mode. I think he's easy to get out, but the fact that he's a level 5 means that you can't normal summon him like you can with Nozachi or Chawa. So yeah, definitely cutting Tricky. I'm not a fan of him. 1 Lurie. This is the first of 3 cards that let you special summon them when discarded. He's a level 1 non-tuner. And there's only 1 of him in here because he's searchable by Grimro. Basically what you do is you discard him off Chawa, and special Chawa, and then make 4 most synchron and get the +1 off that. So yeah, that's all he's in here for. 3 Ganashia. It's a level 3 non-tuner, and you can special summon it from your hand when it's discarded. It's pretty easy. Oh, and also when he's sent to the graveyard after he's been special summoned, you can he has to be banished, which means that you could bring him back with Leviair. So it's pretty good. I just discard him with Chawa, make level 4s. It's pretty easy. You'll see the extra deck in here is actually pretty good. For this deck, it synergizes really well. And we got 3 Cerberus. He's a standard tuner, and when he's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon him. So there's a lot of things you can do with him as well. That's all the fabled cards. Up to the non-fabled, we got 2 tour guides. That's a staple. Knight Assailant, again, I'm cutting this for a second Kushano because I do not like Knight Assailant here. He doesn't synergize well enough for the rest of the day. 2 Snipe Hunters. It's maybe an odd choice, but remember his skill lets you discard a card to target a card on the field and destroy it after rolling a die. So this lets you start up all your fabled engines, and a lot of other things can happen. Like if you summon Snipe, activate his effect, you can even, if it's turn 1, you can even target himself. Because if you lose him, it's not really a big deal. And then you discard your Cerberus, so you get a tuner. You roll. If it misses, that's fine. If it hits, or whatever, he's destroyed. Then you can discard Grimro to search for Lurie. Discard the Lurie special, a Chawa, special Lurie back, sync for 2, make formula, and then draw a card and continue from there. And then you have two monsters as defense. So this is all you can do with Snipe Hunter. He just looks fun. I think I like him a lot. I might cut him down to 1 in later builds, because I only have 1 that's still terminal already. No. Seriously though, he's a good floater. But without Sangan to search him out, that's why I was running him too, is because I lost Sangan. But yeah, he's just not really needed as much. There's a lot of stuff that like it's spot removal really. And he is a dark, which is good to help me get for BLS, but I'm not sure about him. I might end up dropping him down to 1. Next, of course, we have BLS. It's a Chaos Monster. It's the box monster of the deck. And then we got 1 Chaos Sorcerer. It's Fabled Valkyrius right now. It's a proxy, because my friend's too lazy to bring me the Chaos Sorcerer. I traded him. So yeah. Chaos Sorcerer BLS are going to be your main outs in this deck. You want to be able to summon them as soon as possible with Tour Guide or whatever. But the good thing about this deck is the Fabled engine makes it so you can make huge synchro plays without having drawing them. So, 1 Morphing Jar, the staple in this deck and also in Dark Worlds. When you flip it face up, you can discard your entire hand and draw 5. That's pretty damn good. Personally, I think Morphing Jar is a really good card in general. And the last card we have is Gores. Just personal preference. I had room for Gores. I thought I'd throw it in, and it works pretty well. The level 7 token is good. We let you synergize with Chawa and a bunch of other things to make level 7 and 8 synchro plays. Or rather, level 8, I guess, because the token is level 7. So yeah. On the spells, it's like 20 something monsters and like 10 or 11 spells. So yeah. And almost no traps. So what we got is we got a drag down into the grave. Only 1 because you only have space for 1. That's pretty good. Basically, you set everything you can, and then drag down to discard the last card and draw 1. And then you go like Pot of Avarice, or you go Reckless Greed, or Card Destruction, or Monster Incarnation. I don't know, something to keep yourself going. This card has to be played carefully in Fables. Unlike Dark Worlds, where they can just set everything and go off because they have Grapha, you have to be careful. You have to have everything in play before you drag down. So I'm only playing 1 of it. And I'm still testing it out. I may not play it at all in the final build. Card Destruction. This card's obvious. It forces you and your opponent to discard both discard their hands. So, yeah, I don't know. I like it a lot. It can be hit or miss really. One thing to do that's fun is to play this card after using Morphing Jar, and then you can discard your hand and get lots of pluses that way and finish your deck. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty good. I like it with that. Pot of Avarice is a staple in this deck. You really need this card. It gets your graveyard back in your deck and lets you draw 2. This deck has tended to overextend, so getting these cards back is very important. Monster Incarnation. Oh my god, this card is so good. Basically, what you do is you discard a Ganashia or Cerberus or Lurie, and then you add Grimro back to your hand, which means that now you've given yourself a special summoning +1, and you've gotten your Grimro back, which means you can discard the Grimro to search again and give yourself another plus. And then you still haven't normal summoned yet, so now you can normal summon something else. And yeah, you can even normal summon whenever you search off of Grimro. So yeah, Grimro double searching is pretty good. Monster Incarnation. I don't know if I play 2, but it's definitely good at least 1 because it's a great floater card. And then we got Magical Stone Excavation. I wasn't sure about this card. I saw some random kid using it in one of his Fabled decks, and I wasn't sure how good it was until I realized that these 4 spells, and also this one, Mind Control, these 5 spells are just really good, and they're all one-offs. Mainly because you can only play one of them. So like you can only play one average, you can only play one card destructor, you can only play one mind control. These two you could play multiples of, but I'm not going to play more than one drag down, and I'm only going to play 1 or 2 reincarnation. So Mana Stone Excavation helps you get back cards that you can only use once. Like, and then stuff like Reborn and Dark Hole and Heavy Stone, which also happen here. They're also, you can get those back too. The one problem I have with this card is you have to discard 2. So unless you're discarding 2 Fabled monsters that give you pluses, this card is very hard to use correctly. So there is definitely a time and place for it, and I like that it's a payoff, a huge payoff, but I just don't think it's. I don't know. It may or may not end up in the final build, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because it's discard 2 cards to get 1 spell card back, so it's really hit or miss with this card. And lastly, we've got 2 MSTs and Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy. These are all standard. And last, we got 3 Reckless Greed. On my DN build, my trap lineup was 2 Mirror Force, 2 Torrential, and Judgment and Warning. But in this deck, I'm testing a lot of things because I don't have an extra set of Judgment and Warning and stuff because it's in my X-Saber deck. So I was thinking of either making a whole new lineup for this deck or not switching them out. I wasn't sure yet. There's supposed to be lances in here too. That's what I was finding online. So I decided that, you know what, I don't have enough, so I'm just gonna throw in this random playset of Reckless Greeds that I had lying around. Basically, what you do with this card is if you draw into 1 copy of it, you might screw yourself over, so you have to play it carefully. But with this deck, with this being the only trap besides MST, if your opponent blind MSTs this, it's like, slaps them in their face because you get to draw 2. It's important to try and draw these together if you can, because if you draw these 2, you draw 2, set 2, and activate them in the same chain. You only draw, well, you draw 4, but you only have to skip 2 of your draw phases. They're activated at the same time. So it's pretty good. Don't overextend. It's kind of annoying when you overextend, but it happens in this deck. People are so annoying. Anyway, moving on to the extra deck, we got the Fabled Unicorn. It's level 4. All you need to do to make it is 1 Fabled Tuner and a non-tuner. His effect is when you and your opponent have the same number of cards in your hand, you can negate any effect that's activated. So a really good control card. Don't know what else to say about it other than it's good. Make it whenever you can. I prefer it over Kudabi just because it's stronger. We got 3 Raging. I could potentially drop this down to 2, but I don't have anything to replace it with, so yeah. I'll play it and max it. So it needs 1 Fabled Tuner, 1 more non-tuners, and if you have 1 or less cards in your hand when it's synchro summoned, you get to draw until you have 2. So make this guy whenever you can. Shiny Magician. It's supposed to be Formula Synchron. I don't have Formula yet. I'm gonna get one on soon. Hyper Librarian, Staple Synchro, Gaia Online I was playing Sirius, the Blue Wolf Star. It's a level 6 Dark Monster. It lets you do, it doesn't let you do much, but it's a Dark Monster, so if you synchro with it, you can put it in the grave for BLS. Simple as that. Gaia is just good. Black Rose, it's good. Stardust, Scrap Dragon, these are all your staples, and Storm. Yeah. So, 1 synchro I am missing is Shooting Star Dragon and Quasar. So if I get Shooting Star, I'll just throw that in, cut Raging for Quasar. Simple as that. Quasar's good in this deck, we need it. And then for Xyz, standard 10 mains Leviathan right here. So yeah, sorry about the background noise. People are retarded. Yeah, thanks for watching this video. Hope it was helpful, and be sure to like and subscribe if you liked it, and there will be more updates to come.